Welcome to the Adventure Game Hotspot podcast. I'm Joshua with Weird Gaming Adventure, adventuregamers.com, and the future content curator of Adventure Game Hotspot website coming soon. And with us today is our co-host.
Hi, I'm Steven. You might know me as the Adventure Game Geek on YouTube. I have a channel which specializes in adventure games.
And it's a fantastic channel. Tons of game reviews.
Oh, it is? Thank you.
Yeah. If I haven't told you that yet,
I don't think so. So it's always nice to hear. Thanks, Joshua. Yeah, I do specialize in adventure game reviews primarily. So that's mainly what I do. So if I don't sound like a professional presenter like you do, like that's the reason. Just so anybody who watches this knows that I'm kind of talking totally off script, which is not usually what I do. So
you're going to be awesome. And everybody, if you didn't know, well, of course you didn't know, but right before we went live, he had a fan going, and that beautiful mane of hair was just flowing. It was I know, like, very Fabio-esque. Yeah,
right, exactly. And that was part of the reason why I had the fan going. It was to create some movement with my hair, and also to keep me cool.
Hey, buddy, I'm getting near 40. I'm losing some of mine. So
well, I'm older than you, so
Well, and that's something about the adventure game genre. It's usually those from the classic era when we were being raised, when we came up. That's when the adventure game genre was huge. But guess what? Some of those classic games, they're back, and that's super exciting. So, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the significance of the adventure game genre, the significance of the Williams being back with Cygnus Entertainment, and they're creating Colossal Cave 3D. Monkey Island, it's been around, but we have Ron Gilbert now going back, manning the ship, the pirate ship, if you will. We're going to talk about the significance of that. And one of the big news that just popped today, Simon the Sorcerer, there's another game coming out. So we're going to hit that as well. Stick to the end. Yeah. We're going to go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just telling Joshua that, with all these, like adventure games coming back, I feel like there's kind of something in the air or something that's, that's like making this happen. I mean, is it really a coincidence that like these adventure games are like suddenly coming back? I mean, like, I was wondering if maybe it had something to do with, like the last couple of years in the pandemic, like maybe, people had kind of more time to kind of, like think about these things or what? Like, I don't know. Is it, or maybe it's just a coincidence? Who knows?
Well, I hope whatever's in the air, they catch it, they bottle it, and just keep it up. We are about that time frame of life, the era where just getting out of millennial age. We now have our kids, and the things that we had, that we loved growing up. Many of us want to show that to our kids. I don't have kids, but if I did,
I don't have kids either. But yeah.
Well, that might be one of the reasons why it's kind of having a renaissance, a comeback, if you will. So let's talk about the first topic here, Colossal Cave 3D. Never got to play it when I was younger, but I'm very excited about the game coming out. What do you think?
I'm super excited about it. Yeah, obviously, because I'm a huge Sierra fan. Like the King's Quest series is, like I think my favorite adventure game series. King's Quest 1's my favorite adventure game. So I mean, I'm more excited about that than anything really. Yeah, I mean, I can say that I'm even more excited about that than I am about Monkey Island.
Sure.
Just for me personally, and I like when I heard that the Williams, when I say the Williams, I mean Ken and Roberta Williams. Like when I heard they were like returning to game development, it was like it was a real surprise. you know, because it's not really something that I had been like, you know, waiting for or expecting, you know. Kind of, I knew that they were kind of, you know, off, you know, like touring the world in their boat.
Yeah.
You know, like they went on a boat, you know, a worldwide boat trip, and so I thought that they were just kind of enjoying their retirement, but they suddenly sailed back in, like they sailed back into port and announced that they would, you know, they were going to come back to game development, and in fact, like the interesting thing is like they named their company after the name of their boat. Which as you know is Cygnus. So
the Williams story, you mentioned earlier when maybe it had something to do with the lockdown, you know, people got a little antsy, so their fingers started going. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like Roberta Williams has said that in interviews, you know, that you know, that Ken was just, you know, like during the pandemic, you know, Ken was like sitting around the house, like, you know, wondering how he could, you know, like occupy his time. And, you know, like he got back into, he got into learning Unity, how to develop in Unity. And then Roberta came up with, you know, with the idea of remaking Colossal Cave Adventure, which, you know, I had my own ideas of, you know, like when they announced that they were going to make a new game, you know, I had my own thoughts about, you know, what that could be. You know, I was like, well, you know, I mean, it could be like a new King's Quest or something like that, but you know, I wasn't really sure. And like when they announced it was Colossal Cave, I was actually really surprised. Because I hadn't really considered it, but then when I thought about it, like it actually makes like total sense. Like if you understand, you know, if you know like where they came from, and the fact that, you know, playing Colossal Cave Adventure inspired Roberta Williams to design, you know, to start designing games and to design like their first game, Mystery House. So, you know, like she got totally obsessed with, you know, with playing this game, and just got, you know, and that was kind of like the inspiration behind it. So like, you know, when you see it like that, it makes complete sense that they're just kind of, you know, going back to like where it all started, and also like, you know, paying homage, you know, to that kind of, to that kind of inspiration, you know.
Nostalgia is a very addictive drug, if we can relate it to that. And you know what? Like maybe they had a little bit moment to look back. Hey, we made so many people happy. Like nostalgia is huge. I still collect all of the games. I'm an avid collector because of nostalgia. And so they have the Williams name. They could tap into that. Now I was absolutely floored when I heard that it was Colossal Cave 3D. So when I did my interview with Ken, he told me that he was making a game. I'm like, oh, okay. I heard that he was making a game. There was an announcement coming out, and I thought I knew what it was. He's told me that he was making a robot game. It was basically to teach kids to code. So I'm like, okay, you know, it's cool. The Williams put their name on it. That'd be great. But when I heard there's an announcement, I wasn't all that excited. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't necessarily relate to me. But they're making an adventure game, a true adventure game, going back to their roots, starting basically a brand new company with their name on it. Then I got truly excited. And to this day, I scrounge up every bit of information I could find on that. Super, super stoked.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, you were talking about nostalgia. Unfortunately, I don't have any nostalgia for Colossal Cave Adventure because I never played that. And in fact, like the text adventure games kind of passed me by when I was younger. And like, you know, like the first games that I started playing were like the early Sierra games, you know, like King's Quest and all of that. So text adventures were kind of a mystery to me. Although I did randomly have one text adventure called Norden Burt Couldn't Make Head or Tail of It.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, it was like totally incomprehensible to me. It was probably like the worst adventure game, text adventure game to start with, because it was all based on like sayings, you know, like putting the cart before the horse, or you know, something like that. So, you know, I remember like, oh, you know, you have to figure out like, you know, how to get to the next location or something,
Right.
and you have a cart and a horse, and you have to put the cart before the horse, and then you can move on, or something like that. But if you don't know,
Right.
like, you know, like these sayings, then you'd be like totally stuck.
If you're a kid with no frame of reference, you're just hoping you stumble on something.
And I was a kid. I was like, you know, like, what is this? So like, I can't say that you know, like maybe unfortunately, maybe that put me off, you know, playing text adventure games. But I mean, if I did play them, I'm sure I would have loved Colossal Cave Adventure, because, you know, I was just looking at it now, and, you know, like, you know, what it's about, and it's just the kind of thing, you know, that I, you know, would enjoy playing. You know, it's like, it's exploring like a cave complex, and like finding treasures and encountering, you know, all these like different creatures and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, like a fantasy setting, which is, you know, which is what I really like. So yeah.
And you too could explore early by beta testing. If you guys have any questions on how you could sign up to be one of the beta testers, maybe hit one of us up on our Discord or our YouTube channel or something. We'll put you in touch with the proper people. That's super exciting.
Oh yeah, and speaking of beta testing, I did actually just apply to be a beta tester today. Like when I was doing my research. So
I hope you get it. So
I hope so, because I beta tested a few other adventure games before. I beta tested Lord Winklebottom Investigates, like a couple games for like Cloak and Dagger games, and what else? Saint Kotar.
Yeah, great game
as well. So, you know, and I really enjoy that process, and I love kind of like finding all of the, you know, all of like the bugs, you know, in the game. And so, you know, so it's a really enjoyable process for me. So, you know, I mean, it would be an absolute honor to, you know, to beta test that, if, you know, if I got the opportunity.
And in a way, you kind of do that for a living. That's for a later tale. You know, we could talk about that, and stick to the end, guys, because towards the end of the show, we're going to choose 5 games that we would like to see Cygnus reimagine. So stick around with that.
Right. So I'm going to choose 3, and you're going to choose 2.
Correct?
Is that right?
Yeah, I'll give you the honors for the first episode. You get 3, and I'll take 2. At the end of the show, we'll finish it off with a bang, if you will. But let's talk real quick about the significance of Ron Gilbert pairing up once again in the Monkey Island world. So when you heard this announcement, did it blow you away?
It did. Yeah, it did. It did blow me away. Not in the same way that Colossal Cave did, though. Well, I wouldn't say Colossal Cave blew me away. How do I explain this?
The Williams starting a new business, that was out of left field, right?
Oh yeah. That was totally out of left field. But I think like that has kind of more of a personal significance to me. I mean, I really love the Monkey Island games, like especially 1 and 2. Okay, so I admit that I've only actually played Monkey Island 1 and 2, and I've tried playing Monkey Island 3 several times, and just kind of never followed through with it. You know, which is probably a really bad thing to admit, the fact that I've only played like the first two games.
Do you also hate puppies?
I'm sorry. I know this. It's really hard to admit. I'm sure it makes me a terrible person that I've only played like the first 2. But no, but it's also because, you know, it's that nostalgia again. It's because it's because I played the first 2 like back in the day.
Sure.
And so you know, like they have that nostalgia for me. and then like the third one, it just doesn't feel the same.
It's definitely a new style. It's a new world. It's completely, like we talk about reinventing games, they completely reinvented it. So as a fan of the first two, I'm sure that you're a big fan of the idea that now the daddy is back taking care of his kids once more with his vision of a return to Monkey Island, which I'm very, very happy about.
So I'm particularly excited to learn, like what the, how the story is going to continue, basically. Like because it's specifically, supposed to be like, like a true sequel to like the other, to the first two, right? Like it's supposed to be like the third, like the official like third game. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Ron said that the rest of the games, they're going to stay canon. By the way, prior to all the Star Wars stuff, I never heard of the expression canon, but now I know what canon is. So like it's going to stay official. So there's lots of things that I'm guessing that they could do. They could go through some voodoo portal in time or something like a
voodoo portal. Okay, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, I mean, like there's so many possibilities, and it's like almost impossible, to kind of to guess like ahead of time, like what exactly it's going to be about and what the story is going to be. I'm actually like I'm just basically I was initially very excited about the news. Now I'm just kind of waiting until it comes out, like until I find out like what it's really about. And I'm certainly not focusing on what it looks like, because all we can go on now is like what it looks like, what the screenshots are and all of that, and like I'm really that doesn't really affect my my opinion of the game at all at this point. I mean, like the fact that it's like a different graphical style, I think is, I don't think that's I don't think that's unexpected at all. I mean, like if some people, kind of expect it to be like pixel art, I think that's like an unreasonable kind of like an unreasonable expectation. I mean,
well, first of all, if I may jump in, like it is, I would agree with you. It is unreasonable. People may prefer the pixel art, the all of us hardcore, early era of adventure games may like that style or something. But let's face it, every single Monkey Island game with each chapter has been something different, a different look at the art. And so there's no reason to think that they shouldn't continue that and have it look different than what we would expect it to look.
No, I think the developers should be free to
show the creative powers.
Where's my script? I don't have my script with me.
Well, maybe I could. I was going to say,
on.
maybe I will have your opinion. They should be able to give whatever game that they have in their brains, that whatever their intellect says for their intellectual property, they should be allowed to tell their rendition of the game. Doesn't mean we'll like it. I know I will because I am a fanboy.
There we go. I totally agree with that. And that's exactly what I was going to say word for word. It's like he just read my mind there, so I didn't even need to say anything.
It's because I had the script. It's because I had the script. But there's more significance to the adventure game genre than just the game coming out, just Ron Gilbert going back to Monkey Island. This shows basically that Disney, Lucasfilms, has become more reasonable. They've opened up the door to something that we never thought there'd be a chance. Now we know whether they set a precedent now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going to start getting full throttles. We're going to start getting new Maniac Mansions and any of those. But we have hope. What could some of these Rockstar developers, what could some of these people do to tell their stories? We know that it's a possibility now.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, absolutely. One thing I was also gonna mention is
mm-hmm.
is the fact that like when it was first announced that there was going to be like a return to Monkey Island,
Mm-hmm.
like apart from all like the hype surrounding it, I was kind of surprised that like some of the indie developers were kind of saying, oh, there's going to be like a new Monkey Island, so now like what are we going to do with our game, or something like that. And I didn't quite understand that, because like I thought that they were saying, oh well, there's going to be a new Monkey Island, so there's like there's no point in making anything else, because because nothing's going to be as great as Monkey Island. But I think it was more to do with like when they were going to release their game, I think, because like they thought that we don't know the official release date, but like they didn't want to release their game like at the same time, because I guess that it was going to be like overshadowed by Monkey Island. I think that was my understanding of it anyway. I don't know if you know any differently.
Well, let's face it, it's 100% true.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look, it's not that and it's not that Ron Gilbert, it's not that that the Williams want to monopolize, but it's going to happen either way. They're going to have to release their game at some point, and no one's going to want to compete with that. This is massive. But what we have seen this year is massive adventure game year. And so I can see some of the trepidation. I could see how some people would be like, well, I'd kind of like to know when,
Oh, well, sure. But I mean, like, like the point that I made at the time was the fact that, Monkey Island is awesome. Like we all know this, but but the fact is, but there's also, we shouldn't forget like all these other, like great adventure games that that people are developing. I mean, I always feel that unless it's a really terrible adventure game, like any adventure game, like great or small, is kind of worth your attention.
And I think this is a good time to give a few shout outs on some of those. There is actually some, like you mentioned, fantastic games. There's games that have come out this year. Capio was a great game. It's in my top 100 of all time. Loved it. They're great people. Played Crowns and Pawns. Pretty good.
Right. Crowns and Pawns just came out, which I haven't played yet. There's so many games that are scheduled to come out this year that I've been like waiting for. There's Lord Winklebottom Investigates, which is
Voodoo Detective.
Right.
I'm fortunate enough to have played half the game already. It hasn't come out, and I'll tell everybody, yeah, man. Because that's as much as I could say right now. Like,
right. See, So there's that. There's Lucy Dreaming. What else? Like, I'm trying to think. There's so many, but I have like a list of all of them somewhere. So.
Well, there is a lot, and certainly don't shy away. And none of us adventure gamers we ever do. We'll probably just add them to our copious amounts of games in our Steam and GOG catalog and play them eventually, for sure. This is another good time to say that everyone is fortunate, aside from all the incredible adventure game news. Well, also there's another great adventure game podcast. It was just released. We didn't know that it was coming out. Sheer coincidence, everything. But when you're done, not before, but when you're done listening to this, run on over and check out the Point and Click podcast from Yak Wax Lips. Is that what it's called?
No. It's the Point and Click Adventurers.
Point and Click Adventures.
The Point and Click Adventurers, which is Michael from Yak Wax Lips and Churian Shepherd. So yeah, like they're doing the podcast together. Yeah, I didn't know about that podcast until fairly recently, but I've been following their channels like before that. So
Yes, we all love each other. We're all trying to help out the adventure game industry, and so please go check that out. I already watched their show. Good stuff. Good stuff. You'll like it. Speaking of stuff that I assume everyone's gonna like, or possibly today, big news came out that going back to the well again, Simon the Sorcerer Origins. You saw the trailer. I'm excited.
I saw the trailer, and I wouldn't say that it kind of blew me away like the other ones.
Sure.
I'm not quite sure why. I don't know. Like I think I need kind of some more time to to kind of think about it and like to see. Well, hang on. Let me.
Well,
yeah, I haven't really had enough time to really form an opinion of it. Basically, like all I've seen is the trailer where like Simon is obviously younger, but he looks like such a different character than the one that we're used to, and so it seems like a kind of very different game, like from what from like the first two. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what to think.
It looks interesting. I have initial trepidation, I guess is the best way of saying it. First of all, the last couple installations have been a bit of a turnoff. This is not that. This is not
was that the 3D version?
There's been several that have come out over the past it hasn't been for a little bit or anything, but new voice actors. The game obviously the one with 3D that was okay, the first 3D one that they came out with, but it's definitely 2D. It's hand drawn. The thing that this is a pattern that's going on in the adventure game industry. It almost seems like they're creating a lot of these games for the next generation of adventure gamers. They look like they look like kids games. All of the games are very bright. I'm wondering if they're truly doing like demographics, test studies and stuff based on what people want to see, and maybe that's what people are wanting to play. Some of us older generation, we have an initial turnoff to it, but pretty game, I'll say that. Oh yeah, it looks like the fan came back on. Look at that. It's
oh yeah. See, like this is why I had the fan on at the beginning, just so you could see that.
Fantastic. Yeah. I know the Bible says to not be jealous, but jealous.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I made you jealous of my hair.
Yes.
Don't be jealous at all. It's not even this color, because I actually like dye it, so it would actually be like gray if I didn't dye it.
Oh, so, maybe that's where all your youthful looks come from.
Right? Exactly. Sure. Yeah, it's the hair dye, I'm sure.
Got it. I'm fortunate that I don't have any grays yet, except for if I grow a little bit of a beard, it comes right here and a little bit in my sideburns. But I'm certainly of age to have some gray. I am losing a little bit of my hair, or a lot of my hair right here. But so no one cares about our hygiene. Let's talk about our top 5 games that we would like to see Cygnus reimagine. So as we talked about, Colossal Cave, they're reimagining a text adventure game. They're giving it 3D graphics. It's going to have VR. Okay. Now, I'm going to let you go first.
Yep.
So if anybody's ever watched like my radio show or seen any of my other podcasts, I always end it with a top 5 of something. So this is our first show, giving you the honors. Go for it.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. My first choice is actually it's not actually one game. It's like a group of games.
Okay.
So yeah, like after Colossal Cave Adventure, like I thought the most logical thing to remake would be the Sierra high-res adventure games.
Okay.
So that includes, you know, like the first game, Mystery House, and then, you know, Wizard and the Princess, and like all those. I think there's like seven total or something like that, and they're all kind of like the early, you know, text adventures with some graphics, you know.
Well, it makes perfect sense. You know, you said that it went back to where they started with, you know, her and Ken being interested in the Colossal Cave. Then we could go truly back to where everything started, have Sierra 2.0, if you will, and started out with where it all began, Mystery House.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I started like imagining what Mystery House would look like. You know, if it was remade, and you know, you get to see, you know, like all the dead bodies, and like you get to see all these traps and like all the gory detail, and just all that stuff, and yeah, and that would also be a good candidate for VR as well, I think. You know, not that I play any VR myself, but I would imagine it would be you know, it'd be a good choice. So yeah, I mean, for me, like I don't know if that's what you chose, but that was my first choice.
That's not what I chose at all.
Okay. Right.
I'm going to be a bad adventure gamer. You said that you didn't play the Curse of Monkey Island or Escape or Tales.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You said that you hadn't played it.
I think you're making up some rumors about me now. No, I'm an adventure gamer. I've played every adventure game, of course.
Twice.
No. I'm just kidding. I've only played the first two Monkey Island games.
Well, I have not played Mystery House. I have not played any of the high res adventures. So, and I won't say something unless I've actually played the game or seen a walkthrough. And so, I'm interested now. Now I'm going to have to go check out a Let's Play on the YouTubes. Now mine was, look, I'll be straight with you. Mine was a low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruit? What does that mean?
No, that's the expression. Mine it's definitely low hanging fruit. I want a reimagined. Wait for it. King's Quest.
Oh, I think I might have mentioned that, didn't I? Like when that was my first thought. When I heard the news.
Well, and I don't want necessarily them to remake like 1, 2, 3 through 8 or anything like that. But if we're talking reimagining, let's face it, King's Quest has been reimagined 8 times. So like,
it has so many different versions and like fan remakes and all of that. So.
Well, not just that, but you know, like you have King Graham adventures, you have Billy Ray Cyrus adventure in King's Quest 6. I mean, you have the grandma and granddaughter in 7. I can't think of their names. You know, Alexander in 6, and you have 8. Like all of these are different characters, different settings, everything. Well, let's go with another character, another setting, still be the Daventry Kingdom, and see what else we got. Look at. I know that they don't have access to the licenses anymore, but they didn't have access to the license to Colossal Cave 3D, as we've seen with the
and then they just like Ken Williams, like I don't know, I guess like phoned up who is it, Don Woods, and was like, hey, yeah,
pop the name around there, and maybe just maybe we can see another King's Quest. Now, I don't know what the status of the IP is with the Odd Gentleman game that came out in 2015 or something like that. But I'd like to see a King's Quest game.
Yeah. Speaking of King's Quest, I did put Mask of Eternity down as one game that I'd like to see remade.
Okay.
Just because I think the general consensus is like that game could have been a lot better than it was.
Roberta says,
I think Roberta knows more than anyone how much of a disappointment that game was, and like, you know, yeah, like especially for her, I know that she had so many ideas of, you know, like what it could be, and just like those ideas just didn't get realized, and you know, I don't know if she would even want to revisit that. You know, it's kind of like revisiting something from your past that like you really want to forget. You know, so I don't know if she would even want to do that. But,
I would definitely like to see. So is that one of your three?
Yeah, well, I wrote down 5, but yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, maybe they can do an adventure game instead of an RPG. King's Quest 8 tell the same story. If you look at King's Quest 8 from strictly, it's not what you expected as a King's Quest game. But if you look at it from its own game, it wasn't that bad. It's just not what we expected.
I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, I have like a complicated relationship with that game because initially I really didn't like it, you know, from the beginning, like because it wasn't, you know, like a pure adventure game,
right?
And you know, like, so it wasn't really what I was expecting, and I just found it very, very gloomy and depressing, and I just didn't, you know, I just wasn't into it at all. But like when I replayed it years later, I did actually get, you know, a certain amount of enjoyment out of it. You know, like for like playing it for what it is, and I don't think it's, you know, I don't think it's a terrible game. I just think that it's just not not so much a King's Quest game. It just it doesn't feel as much. It doesn't have that spirit, you know.
Exactly right.
The other King's Quest games have. I mean, if it was called something else, then you know, people would think differently. It's just the fact that it's King's Quest Master of Eternity. You know,
I felt the same way about Gabriel Knight 3. I tried it when it first came out as a kid. I tried it probably 2 times, couldn't get very far. They changed a lot of things up. But then I just sat down, I gave it the real opportunity. I finished it, and it's one of the best games, you know. I wouldn't go so far as calling King's Quest 8 one of the best games, but it's definitely not what we thought.
I wouldn't, no.
So in that vein, how I mentioned changing it from an RPG and making it a pure point and click adventure, my other game that I'm going to choose is going to be another Quest for Glory game. We're talking reimagining.
Yeah.
Just take out the RPG elements with it, which are great, by the way. Love the RPG elements of Quest for Glory. But let's get let's reimagine it as a pure point and click adventure game. I think that story, those character lines, you know, maybe add some new lines in there. I'd be down with that.
Oh, okay. So like, so you're talking about Quest for Glory, like as a series, right? A
series, yeah. Make a new one, but just, you know, like they did with every other King's Quest, just added a completely different story, maybe different characters and stuff in there, but make a point and click adventure. Bring the Coles back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, your turn.
Okay, it's my turn. Let's see. Right, my next one is the Black Cauldron.
Okay.
Which is another game, like in the same style as you know, like the old Sierra games. You know, I think that could do with a remake. Not that the original was bad or anything. Like, you know, I played it back in the day and really enjoyed it. But you know, I'd love to see a remake of that. Just because, just because I really like the game and the story, and everything. So,
well, let's add to that. Let's make sure that we get Al Lowe back in there too. Just
right, we should try and get as many of the of the Sierra team back. You know,
that's right. Sierra did such a good job at promoting their developers. They truly made those guys rock stars. That's almost some of the mystery, you know, that came with Sierra. Well, I should say the antithesis, the opposite of mystery. They really put everybody out there, and that's why it helped with the nostalgia. That would
Right,
sell.
right.
That would sell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, they used to put the like the like pictures of the developers on the box, which I always which I always appreciated. So it's, yeah. So it like it felt more personal.
Exactly.
It's like like here's a game that we made for you, like like as a as part of the Sierra family.
They were truly the best at making it a family. From at least putting off, I'm sure there were some things that weren't family like any other corporation in Busy, but they made us like everybody there. And that was something that you didn't get. You didn't get to like see behind the curtains in the dev world at that time. Speaking of behind the curtains, so we are building a new adventure game website. It is smartly named. This podcast is based off the website. It's Adventure Game Hotspot. So gonna have forums, lots of columns, a museum of adventure games. We're gonna have a catalog and everything. So we're hoping that everybody will flock to it. It is being created. So tune in.
One thing I'm very jealous of in your collection there is the gold box King's Quest games.
I have just about every Sierra game,
okay.
and many different languages as well. I guess what you would call an avid collector.
Right.
Man, the cost
of
games.
I'm not a collector, so like I don't have all of those. I just have my old copy of King's Quest 1 from back in the day, and I have like a few hint books lying around.
Well, let me tell you, my friend, you're saving yourself some cash by not being a collector, because the market is absurd right now. Like we're talking thousands of dollars for some of these games. It's it's up there. So do you have anything you want to say on the way out, my friend?
Okay, so we already went through our top 5, right? Was that 5? That was 5, right?
Five total. Yeah. Why don't you just throw off your other 2? Name them real quick.
My other 2 were Uninvited and Deja Vu, which aren't Sierra games though, but still, because they remade Shadowgate. Like these are kind of like the same kind of games, like from the same time period, and so I thought that they could do with the remake as well, in the same way that Shadowgate was remade. So.
Hey, I'd like to see any of the classics get remade. All right, tell everybody where they could find you.
Where they can find me? On my YouTube channel, which is Adventure Game Geek, all one word.
And your Discord.
And on no, not so. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot though.
Okay.
My Twitter name is point and click geek. Point and the letter N, click geek, one word. Yeah, because Adventure Game Geek was too long, and I didn't want to be called Adventure Game G. So I changed it to point and click. So there you go.
That's an entirely different meaning than I love it. And you could find me at Weird Gaming Adventure YouTube. Find me on all of the socials. Oh yeah, I don't go by Weird Gaming Adventure on the socials anymore. I changed it to Adventure Game Hotspot. So be on the lookout for that. So anything you want to say on the way out?
I don't think so. I hope I did a good job here with this podcast, because this is my first time podcasting, and I'm doing it because you you very kindly invited me to co-host with you, and I'm not used to being off script, so.
Well, we couldn't have asked for a better co-host. And next show, everybody, will be right up your alley. We're going to talk all things King's Quest on the next show.
Oh, we are? Okay. I'm totally down for that. We can talk as long as you want about that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's the early show notes, my friend. All right. For Steven, I am Joshua, Weird Gaming Adventure, and we will see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody.